Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas, aiming to help you become, well, truly well-informed.
That's the goal.
And today, we're tackling a real classic, a book that's more than just a bestseller. It's really foundational for personal growth.
You're talking about Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right?
Exactly. Now, our insights today come from a really interesting, detailed review of the book.
Okay.
We want to focus on what makes this book so timeless.
Yeah.
Our mission, really, is to get past the surface buzzwords
Yeah.
and pull out the key nuggets about success, character, productivity, leadership, all that good stuff. So by the end, you'll really get why it's endured.
Well, and I think what sets Covey apart and what the source review likely highlighted is his focus on the character ethic.
Right, versus the personality ethic.
Exactly. He's basically saying, forget the quick fixes, the charm school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Real lasting success, that comes from building an inner foundation. Things like integrity, humility, courage. It's about being effective deep down.
Not just looking the part.
Precisely. So it's not just another self-help book. It's really a framework to kind of improve everything, your personal life, relationships, career, all of it.
That's a really key distinction.
Yeah.
It's not about those quick fixes at all. Okay, I'm genuinely ready to get into these habits.
Yes.
Our source lays them out as a kind of progression, right?
Yeah.
A journey. So where does Covey start us off?
It's a journey structured from dependence, moving towards independence, and then ultimately reaching interdependence.
Okay.
So these habits, they aren't just standalone tips. They build on each other. They create this powerful synergy as you go.
Right. So leading us off is habit 1, be proactive. Now, on the surface, that sounds simple enough, take initiative.
Mm-hmm.
But Covey means something deeper, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What's the real core of this first habit?
It's actually quite profound. It's about redefining responsibility. Covey says that even when things feel totally out of your control, you lose your job, get sick, whatever it is,
Yeah.
your real power is in how you respond to it. It's a fundamental shift. You stop being a victim of your circumstances.
And start choosing your path.
Exactly. He talks about the circle of influence versus the circle of concern. Focus on what you actually can change, not just fretting about everything else.
So redirecting your energy. Not ignoring problems, but focusing it effectively. How does that play out practically?
Well, the source we looked at had a good example. Say, work isn't getting done at the office.
Okay.
Instead of just complaining or, blaming colleagues or the boss.
Which is easy to do.
Very easy. A proactive person looks for a solution. Maybe they offer help, suggest a better workflow, ask for clarity. They own their part.
They take responsibility for their actions and their attitude.
Got it. So once you've got that proactive mindset, you're owning your choices.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next is direction. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Okay. Begin with the end in mind.
Yeah. It's about designing your life with intention. Like, you wouldn't start building a house without a blueprint, would you?
No, definitely not.
So why go through life without a clear idea of where you actually want to end up? This habit is about visualizing that desired outcome before you start a task, a project, even planning your whole career.
Right, so you don't, like you said, climb that ladder and then realize it's against the totally wrong wall.
Exactly. That's the classic analogy.
Okay, so we figured out where we're going, ideally. The next logical step seems to be habit 3, put first things first. This sounds like prioritization.
It is, but it goes beyond just making to-do lists.
How so?
This habit really pushes you to focus your time and energy on what truly matters for that long-term vision, that end in mind you just defined.
Okay.
It's about consciously choosing the important stuff over the merely urgent stuff. And the practical tool here, which our source also mentioned, is the Eisenhower matrix.
Ah, yes, the Eisenhower matrix, that 4-box grid. Urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Lots of people know it.
Right, but the key isn't just categorizing tasks.
What is it then?
It's about forcing yourself to spend more time in quadrant 2. That's the important but not urgent box.
Okay, what lives there?
That's where the real value is built. Strategic planning, long-term goal work, relationship building, learning, exercise planning.
The stuff that prevents crises later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it often gets shoved aside by the tyranny of the urgent, the constant emails, the ringing phone, the minor crises.
Yeah, I feel that.
So the insight isn't just the grid, it's consciously choosing to invest in quadrant 2. That's building what Covey calls your private victory, mastering yourself first.
That makes perfect sense. Right, so once you've sorted out your internal world, your private victory, Covey shifts focus.
He does. He moves towards interactions with others, the public victory habit.
Yeah, and kicking that off is habit 4, Think win-win. Now, this sounds lovely, very aspirational.
It does.
But let's be real. In business, even sometimes in families, it feels like we're wired to compete, right? Win-lose. How does Covey suggest we move past that?
You're right. Win-lose or even lose-win can feel like the default. But Covey argues that real power, and especially sustainable relationships, come from collaboration.
Okay.
It's about going into interactions truly seeking mutual benefit. Believing that there's enough for everyone, that one person's success doesn't require another's failure.
So it takes courage and consideration.
Absolutely. Courage to state your needs and consideration to understand and respect the other person's needs. Finding that third alternative where everyone feels good about the outcome.
Finding common ground.
Okay.
That leads really nicely into habit 5 then. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yes. This one is huge.
It feels like a cornerstone for, well, any effective relationship, personal or professional. What's the power here?
The power is genuine empathy. True communication, Covey stresses, starts with listening and not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all are. It's about listening with the real intent to understand the other person's perspective, their feelings, their frame of reference.
Before you jump in with your own points.
Exactly. Only after you've genuinely understood them can you effectively present your own side. It completely changes the dynamic. People relax when they feel truly heard.
I can see that. It definitely challenges that instinct to just react or formulate your rebuttal while they're still talking. Okay, so we're thinking win-win. We're listening to understand. What happens when we bring these individual strengths and understandings together?
That's habit 6, synergize.
Synergy. The buzzword. But what does it actually mean in Covey's context?
It means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 100.
Okay, how?
It's about truly valuing differences. Instead of being threatened by different opinions or skills, you see them as strengths. You combine varied perspectives, talents, experiences.
To create something better than anyone could alone.
Precisely. You create new possibilities, innovative solutions. It's about collaboration at its highest level, transcending your own limits by working effectively with others.
So rather than trying to do everything yourself, you build on collective strengths. Can you give a quick example?
Sure. Think about a complex team project at work. Instead of everyone kind of muddling through all parts, synergy means you figure out who's brilliant at research, who's amazing at the creative presentation, who's the organizational whiz.
And you let them lead in their areas.
Exactly. You assign tasks based on those unique strengths. The combined result, leveraging everyone's best, is way better than if each person tried to do a bit of everything poorly.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone from private victory habits 1, 2, 3 to public victory habits 4, 5, 6. What's the final habit? The one that keeps it all going.
That's habit 7, sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw.
This is maybe the most crucial habit for long-term sustainability because it's all about renewal, investing in yourself. Covey emphasizes continuously working on and rejuvenating the 4 key dimensions of your life: physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual.
Right. It's the habit that makes all the other habits possible over the long haul.
Absolutely. If your saw gets dull, your effectiveness drops, no matter how hard you try to apply the other habits.
You know, when I first heard sharpen the saw, my mind immediately went to, like, exercise, going to the gym.
That's part of it, definitely.
Right.
The physical dimension.
But Covey means more, right? What does our source say about these dimensions?
It stresses it's a holistic thing. Yes, physical exercise is key, but also mental renewal, reading, learning, writing, planning.
Okay.
Then there's the social emotional dimension, building relationships, empathy, service,
Yeah.
and the spiritual dimension, which could be meditation, prayer, art, music, time, and nature. Whatever connects you to your core values and provides meaning.
So it's really about balanced self-renewal across all these areas. You can't just focus on one.
Exactly. If you neglect one area, it impacts the others. You need that consistent, balanced investment in yourself to stay effective.
Okay, so we've covered the 7 habits. Now, why has this book stuck around? It's been decades, but it's still incredibly influential. Our source highlighted some key strengths. What really jumps out?
I think the biggest one is just how timeless these principles are. They aren't management fads or quick tricks.
Right.
They're based on sort of universal laws of human effectiveness. They were relevant 30 years ago. They're relevant now. They'll likely be relevant 30 years from now.
And it's not just abstract philosophy, is it? The source mentioned practicality.
Oh, absolutely. It's deeply practical. Covey uses real-life examples and tools like that Eisenhower matrix we discussed. It gives you concrete things you can actually do.
A blueprint for action, not just reflection.
Exactly.
I also appreciate the balanced focus it offers. It's not just about work or just about personal life.
No, it integrates both. It recognizes that you're one whole person, and effectiveness spans all roles you play. Personal and professional success are intertwined.
And finally, it offers real depth, doesn't it? It goes beyond surface behaviors.
It really does. It digs into human behavior, motivations, character. It aims for that fundamental shift in perspective, not just tweaking actions.
Okay, but in the spirit of a proper deep dive, we need balance. No book is perfect for everyone. Our source did point out some limitations.
Yeah.
For instance, it can feel quite philosophical.
It can, yeah.
Now, I wonder, is that a weakness? Or is that part of its strength, its staying power? What do you think? Does today's audience maybe need something more direct?
That's a really interesting point. It's probably both, right? The philosophical depth makes it timeless, gives it substance, but it does mean it requires commitment. If you're looking for like 5 easy hacks to double your productivity by Friday, this isn't it.
Right. It might feel slow or too abstract if you want instant results.
Exactly. It's not a quick fix manual.
And tied to that, implementing these habits takes real patience. It's not an overnight transformation.
Definitely not. Building habits, real character changes. That takes consistent effort over time. There's no shortcut.
And one minor point the source mentioned, maybe for some readers, is the language in the original book can be a bit dense.
Yeah, the original English can be quite rich, maybe a little complex if you're new to this kind of reading, which actually makes a distilled overview like this potentially helpful.
Good point. So bringing it all together, what's the final word for our listeners? Our source review was pretty clear, calling it a must-read for anyone seeking real, lasting change.
I'd agree with that assessment. It's not just about temporary motivation. It provides that systematic shift in mindset and approach.
And who's the ideal audience, according to the source?
Honestly, it's incredibly broad. Students figuring things out, professionals wanting to lead better, entrepreneurs building something, parents guiding families.
So basically everyone.
Pretty much. Because these are universal principles. But the source did suggest a particularly good time to pick it up is when you feel kind of stuck.
Okay. Stuck in your career, stuck in life pattern.
Yes. Exactly. It offers a way to fundamentally reevaluate how you approach things, how you see problems and opportunities. It provides a pathway forward.
So as we wrap up, it feels clear that the enduring power of the 7 Habits really lies in its focus on character. It's about changing who you are, not just what you do.
Building that strong inner foundation first. That's the core message.
Absolutely.
And maybe that leaves a final thought for everyone listening. Reflect on these 7 habits. Which one? Which single habit resonates most strongly with where you are right now? With your current challenges or maybe your biggest aspirations?
Just one to start with.
Yeah. Think about one specific area in your life, work, family, health, whatever. How could applying just one of these principles, even imperfectly, start to create a significant positive shift for you? Maybe it's seeking to understand someone better, or maybe it's finally carving out time to sharpen your own saw. What's that first step look like?